Deep, deep beneath the earth, there's a place where darkness stretches into realms yet undiscovered. Reality shifts and its edges blur, creating new spaces and realms. One of these realms is known as the Below, the Night World, or simply the Underdark, for the sun never reaches this pitch-black place. Beneath the sky, which consists of a rocky ceiling that puts even the biggest caves to shame, there are waves of viscous, dark water lapping at the shore of few and small islands. These islands are the only dots of inhabitable land within the large ocean, the Black Sea. The biggest one of these islands might have been earth and rock once, but now it consists of metal and concrete, a city bigger than even the great capitals of the lands above. Illuminated only by the white, harsh light of magical lamps, the City of Shadows is home to many folk. Our three protagonists should be wary though, as a single false step in the City of Shadows can plunge you into the dark forever, just as well as one right move can rise you above the rest. A delicate net of intrigue, desire and death weaves all across the city, connecting criminals, civilians and nobles alike. Everyone has to find their place in it. Everyone needs to learn to navigate this treacherous maze. Can you do it? Or will we die alone and forgotten?
Evening, little dove. The name's Sahir Marlowe, and I'll be ferrying your ass and all your shit across the Black Sea this evening. Mind your fingers and toes, keep 'em in the boat, and for Raptor's sake, don't go leaning over the water. See, the waves hide terrible secrets from those that travel the surface. Not much unlike Sahani, the City of Shadows, yeah? You see, little dove, there's all sorts of things to discover in the city, if you know where and how to find them. Me? I'm just a gondolier, nothing special. Yeah, that's what I tell everyone, even if they don't believe me. See, I specialize in being ordinary. Been that way for a long time. I grew up in a group home, the old Soft Touch orphanage in the Silk Scarf district. Growing up was tough, yeah. Working in the textile mills, avoiding the gang wars in the streets, hard lessons from the instructors in the home. There wasn't any time to lament our situation, though. Well, not for most of the kids. I might have been upset, but I earned my way out. See, some wealthy madam stopped by the house one afternoon, claiming to be related to me or something. I eyed her suspiciously, went along with it, though. If it meant getting out of the home, I was game. I followed her around for a few days, and one evening, while she was sleeping, I took off with whatever valuables I could carry in my pockets and snuck off. These days, I don't really take valuables off folks, but information. Speaking of which, what's in the cargo, eh? Don't look so worried. I'm harmless. No secret ever passes these lips. Unless the price is right.
I've seen you before, I think, lingering on your way past the shop. I'm glad you've come in. The arrangements out front are pale shades of what you find in here. And nothing beats one of our custom creations. A bouquet of my own. You flatter me, but I'll not turn it down. There's a language in flowers, you know. I've made enough lovers' tokens and funeral wreaths to tell you that even without knowing why, people quite often like to tell a story with their choices. A daisy here for innocence, a sprig of gladiolus there for remembrance. It won't be one of those ostentatious ones you see delivered up to the parties and cafes in Cleargarden. So, let's say a bit of hollyhock and lavender for height, some sweet peas, and perhaps some butterfly weed near the hands. There's color, but you wouldn't think it much to look at, no? But see here, wrapped in the ribbon, a message for those skilled enough to read it. Yes, metaphorically and literally, For you see, that is where you'll find a note for your master. I know who you serve, and have been expecting you for some time. Here, have a bit of forget-me-not before you go. A bright spot of blue against the dark of the city to keep you on your way.
Hush, little one, for you are safe here in my garden. Who are you, you must be wondering? Well, I am Bronard Denul of the great house Sif, but please do call me Broden. To answer the unasked question, no, I cannot see you. Not directly. However, that is because the natural magics of the world are still at work within me. I've always possessed a certain amount of magic, as demonstrated by the dragon mark of healing that wraps around my horns. A mighty gift bestowed to the members of my house, a gift I was nearly denied when my father was executed for planned crimes against the Night Queen. After that event, I withdrew from the affairs of the house and dedicated myself to this garden. I chose a life of isolation, only leaving to acquire new plants to grow here. But I did not remain isolated. One day I was approached while placing an order for a new flower bush, a group interested in the potential use of gardening to reshape the City of Shadow so that no one would ever go hungry again. I was fooled for a time until my now friend Sahir stopped me and showed me what their true ambition was. I abandoned that group, but they had planted the seeds of an idea. Perhaps I can reshape the City of Shadow through my gardens after all.
Hello everybody, and I believe we are live. You never quite finished counting down. The number after 2 is 1. But
you always do quietly.
welcome.
That's how that works.
I wouldn't know that. Welcome to session 4 of City of Shadows. I am Swaffer. I will be your GM today. And with me I have...
Hi, I'm Eva. We'll get through this, friends. I think I'm still fired. I'm playing Mercy today. For a few minutes, anyway.
Oh, hi, I'm Wren, and I am playing Sahir today. Hi, welcome back. Happy New Year. Whatever. I don't know.
Hello, I'm Raven, and I'm playing Broden. Also, Happy New Year. Let's try not to dwell on things this last week.
Well, that was almost a routine. By session 10 we will probably have this. However, since it has been a while since... No, we won't, I know. I was being optimistic, goddammit. Since it has been a while since we were last here, can somebody remind us what the fuck happened?
Well, we started out following Chap the Mouse, who continued to roll very well until they got exhausted and fell asleep. They led us to wherever it was that the sewer hub of the gondoliers was, where Sahir tactfully got us a guide to where the plant cult, I forget the name of at the moment, had moved all of their boxes, presumably temporarily. We then stealthily stole, under 2 guards' noses, at least 2, because there was a conversation going on in the next room, 12 boxes of seeds. Which we left with quickly and quietly. We after that we decided to split up, do some research, talk to some people, M talking to receiving a letter from a Mr. Fox, who wanted them to steal a book from a dead author, for reasons of removing from circulation, in quotes. Mercy decided to go back on what she said about not meeting Mr. Barramani, and went to meet Mr. Barramani to fix that. At the end of which, Mr. Barramani said, "You might want to wait for a few minutes," and then stood up, and the entire restaurant stood up with them to leave. Broden talked to a professor about a hypothetical situation involving seeds and necromancy, plants and necromancy, and showed off one of the seeds that had been acquired, to which the professor knew nothing about. It's like, I've never seen this before. After which we decided to move the seeds to a more secure location, in the process of which we were accosted by cultists. We are still being accosted by cultists at this time. I believe that brings us up to normal.
A very good summary, actually. Take your D6 of inspiration, which you can use at any time. Few corrections, well, 2 of them. You were told to remove the book by an author who wasn't dead. The author is Catherine J. Dorning, but it comes from a collection of somebody who's recently died. It's not the author. And you were accosted by cultists, but you managed to dispatch of the first, let's just say, raft. However, you were soon found by a second one, and it seemed that the second one carried some kind of spellcaster, which is quite familiar to you, as it was the person with the large brimmed hat and the coat, which has been running into you for quite some time now. Next to them, there's another hooded figure upon the raft, steering it, and you are being currently, as you so elegantly put it, accosted. So, if I could have an initiative roll, please, as this is indeed a fight. Unless, of course, you can think of anything to end it. Well, very good news. I don't think anybody of you will be last. So, 25 to 20 in initiative. Do we have anybody? No. 20 to 15? No. 15 to 10. Broden, what do you have?
12.
12. Alright. Ten to 5. What do you have?
9.
9. And Sahir, what do you have?
3.
A 3. You're still not last.
Bless.
Actually. No. You are still not last. I presume your dexterity is higher. What is your dexterity, please?
I rolled a 1 with a +2.
I mean your score. Oh, +2. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Dexterity is higher. So, against all odds, the hooded figure upon the front of the other raft will be going first, and they will be making a water vehicles check. Alright. They seem to be making good headway. Just for reference, the other raft is about 20-ish feet away from you, and currently is managing to catch up, which brings them into 15-foot range. They use their action to do this, and they... No, they use their movement to do this, excuse me. Which means... One moment. No, I was right the first time. They used their action, excuse me. So, they have nothing else to do. Broden, which brings us to your turn. What do you want to do?
If I recall correctly, we were like pulling up onto a bank to start running because we'd gotten, generally speaking, to the district that we wanted to be, and we're about to disembark when we saw them come around the corner.
Indeed. The bank seems to be 15 additional feet away from you. Well, I say bank. It's more of a pier, which would lead you through a few streets, alleyways, to your manor. It's a bit of a shortcut, which you know.
So that's too long of a distance to jump.
15 feet?
Yes.
I mean, do you have the jump spell?
No. I don't have any spells.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot.
That moment when even the GM forgets that you're level 0.
I was lying. I did not forget.
So I guess I'm just gonna try and lob a dart at Mr. Spellcaster Bro.
All right, Mr. Spellcaster Bro would indeed not like to be hit by a dart and will try to dodge. So do your best to hit them.
That misses.
What
Which was a 5.
A 5 does indeed miss.
Even with my modifiers, that's going to be like a 9 at best. 8. Yeah.
The dart flies just past them. Anything else you'd like to do?
I would say stand menacingly, but I don't think Broden is currently in a position to do so.
It's true. So, moving on, we have M. M, what are you doing? If I recall correctly, you still have a dagger, which you plucked from Sahir's back. And you have recently found a rapier, I hear.
Yeah, I have wild luck. Dagger, rapier. Is there anyone around? Like...
Upon the streets, give me a quick perception check as a free action.
Oh, 14.
14. As far as you can tell, no, nobody seems to be around. These passageways are quite unfrequented, which is probably one of the reasons why they're a shortcut.
That's rude.
I apologize.
And they are 15 feet away?
Yes, currently they are.
I would like to... If I may hold my action. And if it looks like they are going to oh balls, I'm just gonna throw my dagger. It's fine.
Alright. Rapid decision making. At whom?
The spellcaster.
Absolutely. Somebody has identified the threat here, and I don't like that.
I think that's just 17.
Just 17 does hit.
Okay.
They don't seem to be the most nimble of people.
I don't like to judge. That's
I do.
not true. I love to judge. And that's 4. I don't think I'm adding
4.
to that.
Okay.
Yes.
So the dagger nicks the skin upon their left arm. It seems you hear the ripping sound of their coat, but it then flies into the murky water.
It's fair.
Anything else you'd like to do?
No. No, I'm good for right now.
All right. That brings us to Sahir. As a reminder, you can use your movement action to try to propel the raft forward. Or, not a movement action, you can use your action to propel the raft forward. I apologize. I confused myself.
So here's a question. If I don't use my action to propel forward, do we still coast?
Yes, you do. And I basically, you can use your movement to keep the speed you have, and you can use your action to speed up.
I will use my movement to continue course, so we reach it next turn.
All right.
And if I recall correctly, I have discovered some sort of secret hidden power inside me. And as I'm holding on to the stick steering mechanism, I look over my shoulder and call upon the... I'm not getting this accent right now. I should have practiced it before I got going. I pull
That's a mood right there.
from the strange wellspring that I've felt in my chest with that, I believe you described it as some sort of what was it, a horrifying roar of sorts that was echoing in my head.
More or less, yes.
And
like some
I
beast.
channel that power, and I suddenly am overcome with the sensation that I can somehow soothe these pursuers into a lovely waterborne nap. And I'm going to cast sleep on the gondola behind us, and I will attempt to make them both fall asleep on the gondola. And this is my aberrant dragon mark spell, is sleep.
Yes.
So that's 5d8.
So, as you roll hit points, please think of a description of how this looks like, because I am immensely interested in that prospect.
10, 17, 24 hit points worth of sleepy people. And essentially, as I'm looking over my shoulder, no one would really see it. At least none of my companions would see it, but my eyes are generally that amber color, but they kind of start to shimmer, almost wavering between gold and dark brown and silver, and just kind of going in waves as I'm staring at these two over my shoulder. And as that shimmering pattern continues, it's essentially like a hypnotic pattern, without being the hypnotic pattern spell, mind you. And the two pursuers, as they're fixed on pursuing us, they just feel a wave of fatigue as I'm just kind of boring into them with my eyes.
Absolutely. And one of them, the gondolier, actually immediately kind of just falls to the ground of the gondola. Let's see if Oh, yes. Ooh. And in the speed of this action, the body rolls and then sinks into the murky waters with no trace left. And for a second, it seems like the second figure would also give in to your spell, but then their head just kind of shakes and they grunt something underneath their breath. Well done.
Okay.
Pursuing, yeah.
As the one tumbles into the water, I chuckle. I not to be stereotypical, but he's sleeping with the fishes. Har har har.
Which brings us to the spellcaster. who, after seeing his comrade fall prey to, well, basically you, will... Yeah, sure. Extend his hand, and from beneath his sleeve, you can see something green slithering out there and kind of reaching towards you. One moment. I need to look up the spell. I'm fairly certain the range is what I think it is, but I do need to be certain. It is. And let's see if it hits. Is your AC above 15? Okay, then the Thorn Whip does hit, inflicting... Oof. One moment. Interest. Only 1 piercing damage, as it seems that the attack modifier is not included in the damage. However, as the whip kind of wraps around you, and you can feel the thorns piercing into you, you get yanked forward, or in your case backward, and you... No, you do not get a saving throw, as you are just yanked off the raft and into the depths of this cold, somewhat mud-like water, which you can immediately feel clinging to your entire body. There are no other effects than that, but this water seems to be far more difficult to swim in than you would expect water to be. Well, Sahir probably already knows this. So, after
The
that,
good news is I'm not unconscious, so...
that is good news. Remind me again, who has the seats? They're on... Okay, yeah. I thought so. So, which brings us to Broden.
Can Sahir be seen in the water?
They can. They're currently sinking beneath the water, and as soon as they are underneath the surface, it's going to be exceedingly difficult finding them again, as this water is per nature black.
So many things that I want to do, but I can't yet.
Just as a bit of orientation, the pier is now about 10 feet away from you.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. What, is he close enough to the boat to reach? Are they?
They are. Let's say the raft is about 5 feet in each direction, which brings them to about 5 feet off the raft. So from your current position, if you were to reach the edge of the raft, 5 feet.
Can we pause for 3 seconds for technical difficulties?
Of course.
Sorry, the video cut and I don't know why. Zoom.
Are we back?
Sorry, friends.
Okay.
So,
What's a stream without
since we're back, Broden would like to try and reach out to grab Sahir and try to pull them out.
Absolutely. Now, this can go two ways. Normally, Sahir would make an athletics check to get out of the water themselves. So you can either aid them or basically hold your action to pull Sahir out, which would mean you would get to make the check, but you would need to wait until Sahir's round because they would basically give you the aid action. Help action? I think it's called. No, whatever it's called.
Aid.
The advantage one.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna hold my action till when they're ready to get out, and then lift.
All right. So you just basically extend your hand.
Well, reach down, not just extend it.
Reach down, yes.
Just like put some effort.
Just extend your hand. Imperiously. So,
Five them
unless you
on
want to-
as they're sinking.
Anyway, hello. It is your turn already. What do you wish to do now that you don't have a dagger to throw? You could throw your rapier, I think.
I could. I feel confident that is a thing I could do. I don't think I'm going to.
You disappoint me, sir.
I know. Daily. We're almost at the bank.
Yes, it is 10 feet away.
And Sahir's out.
Yes. So he is currently almost drowning.
Oh, that was
Almost.
not what I meant. I will
Oh.
try to assist Sahir out of the water, if I may.
You can do so, though it seems that Broden already has that handled, so your assistance seems
Superfluous.
mechanically unnecessary.
Okay, that's fine. And
If you think that's something that M would do, definitely you can do so, but you would basically not gain any additional mechanical benefits.
yeah, no, that's fine. In which case, M would like to try. She doesn't know how to do this, but she's going to try and help the boat get closer to the shore.
Alright, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There's still the stake that Sahir had used, and you can just basically use it like a shovel to propel yourself forward. So you are now 5 feet away from the pier. If you can give me a water vehicles check, is that, I think? Dexterity plus... Well, nothing, since you're not proficient.
I was gonna say. So just dexterity.
Yeah. And you will definitely make the 5 feet. It's just to see if the other one can catch up if they would do the same as you.
Yeah, that's fair. 17.
17. Remarkably proficient, actually. You seem to picked up something from Sahir.
We've spent a lot
watching
of
them.
time together.
You do. Kind of peculiar, but okay. Which brings us to Sahir themselves. You see through the water that is almost covering yours now. Broden extend their hand.
Oh, this is cold. Real cold. I hate the water, and I'm gonna thrust my hand out to grab onto Broden's giant ham fist.
So,
Not really a ham fist. I suppose it would be more like a beef fist, right? And I will clasp their hand and
So unfortunately, Sahir slips and dies. Sorry about that. No.
Yeah, it's just a shame. All I could do was have...
Broden just sees Sahir's face and just slowly retracts there. No. Please give me an athletics check, Broden, with advantage.
Broden pulls my face into the side of the gondola, and I am knocked unconscious. Oops.
I'm gonna go athletics. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use your inspiration die there, right at the start here. Okay.
I mean, if there's ever a good point to use it, I think this is one of them.
I now, with that natural 6, I'm going to have 18 total.
18, yeah. You easily managed to pull Sahir out of the murky water. And Sahir, that was, I will treat this as basically half of your movement, same as prone, just assistance standing up. So you still have your bonus action left if you want to do anything.
So I just kind of get like flopped on the side of the gondola.
You do stand,
wet.
but it's basically a standing up from the water onto the raft.
For my whole movement, just to
there's
get up
not
there.
exactly rules for getting out of the water onto a gondola. So
Yeah.
It doesn't seem too terribly difficult once you manage to do it.
I kind of imagine as Broden pulls me and I just kind of flop out. I'm like, my legs dangling over the side on my back, and as I'm kind of gasping, I just lift my head slightly and look at the wizard, the cloak guy, whatever we want to call him. And I would love to use my action to try and get a little vengeance with a poison spray, if I might.
Ooh.
As I cough into my hand and just kind of like flick the water that comes out from my mouth. And as I do so, just a spurt of this noxious looking, almost oily looking ichor goes streaming out towards them. I am trying to remember what this spell is, so I just need to check my spells real quick. That is a... Is he within 10 feet? God, I forgot how small the range is on this.
Yes, exactly within 10 feet.
Perfect.
Wait a minute.
Constitution saving throw.
He wouldn't be, unfortunately, since M specifically moved the raft forwards 5 feet, so he would be within 15 feet.
Okay, so I do not do that. Instead, I would love to use Mage Hand to try and have the craft piloted backwards.
Ooh. Interesting. And since nobody's using it, yeah. No, I don't think that requires a check, unless, of course, he wants to counteract that. And at this point, he doesn't seem to be making a move towards it. So, yeah, the distance increases to 20 feet as the raft suddenly goes backwards. This is not a high-speed chase. Rafts are not known for their incredible speed. It's just...
It just slowly
Which
stops.
is why you're only moving 5 feet around, basically. Or 10 feet. Yeah, basically.
And satisfied with that, I kind of roll over and push up, and I look to Broden. Thanks, buddy. Let's get the hell out of here, right? And I'll stand up.
Alright. Which brings us to the spellcaster's turn. They will hold an action. You can see them muttering something once again under their breath, and there seems to be this greenish substance halfway between plants and energy blossoming up in them, though it is not yet released. So, we move on to Broden.
Pardon me, just knocked all of my pencils off the desk. Probably gonna go ahead and throw a dart at them. Yeah.
Alright, give me an attack, please.
that's going to be a 15 to hit.
That does hit. I need to
Woohoo!
make a con save of 10, I believe. Oh, yes, that 20. That succeeds.
Well, they're not poisoned.
Oh, they're not poisoned. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so that's the poisoned. Well, the dart is poisoned. I was saying the magician's not poisoned because they.
Oh,
they
okay. Okay, good.
The DC is not high. It's 10.
Yeah. Now, if I recall the rules correctly, if I take damage while holding my action on a spell, do I need to make a concentration saving throw? Concentration check. There's no such thing as a concentration saving throw.
I don't know.
I think-
they take 4 piercing damage. By the way, I can look it up real quick.
What do you mean you don't know? Raven, you're the rules person. No, I'm pretty sure about that.
Never had that.
Feels like that would make sense. That's
Yeah.
a good question.
They succeed. It's not a circumstance that comes up quite often, but I made it and I succeeded anyway. So, the dart impacts, and you can see the flare of the green energy kind of accumulating around where the dart impacted and then washing over the body once again. Anything for your movement or bonus action? Just as a reminder, the pier is now within 5 feet.
So it's within. I can now jump onto it. I can now step onto
Absolutely.
it. Yes. Let's step onto the pier and start moving away.
All right. As you do that, the held action goes off. Which, yeah. Give me just a second. You all need to make some kind of saving throw. I am not quite sure which one. I believe it might be strength. Or... Yes. Please make me a strength saving throw. As from the ground and from the depths of the water, you can see these vines emerging, trying to constrict you.
Called it.
I mean, what else were they going to do?
Oh, nice. That's a 19. I assume that
Succeeds.
succeeds.
That does not succeed. Yeah, no.
Be
it
very
succeeds.
concerned if that didn't succeed.
It's actually a 15th level spellcaster here. I'm just playing with you.
I don't believe that spell can be upcast.
It can now.
I mean, the DC can
14.
be high,
for
but
him.
no, 14. I believe that also succeeds barely, but it succeeds. Yeah. Hello, Flower. And Sahir.
12.
That does not succeed. I got one of you. So, you are now, I believe, restrained? Yes, restrained. So here is being bound atop of the raft, while Em manages to break free of the vines and Broden kind of dashes away from them. Which makes me very unhappy, but you know, it's more the... Which brings me to Em. Em, what are you doing?
They are physical vines.
Physical vines, yes.
I would like to slash at them. Sorry, Sahir.
Right. I believe I can count this as an aid action for Sahir's strength saving throw. Okay.
Don't take my nodding as like any sort of mechanical confirmation for the record.
No. I'm not asking. I'm just doing that. I am in fact the GM. I just remembered. So, anything for your bonus action or movement?
Did that succeed?
We shall see. You definitely strike the vines and manage to weaken them. I'm not going to ask for an attack roll, since Sahir is indeed restrained by the vines, but there are plenty of them, and you can kind of hack at the roots, so you don't need to actually accidentally skewer Sahir.
Okay, good. That
You're
was
just weakening them.
main concern. which case I will use my movement to also get to the dock, I guess.
Absolutely. So you jump, and you're... if you've both used your movement, you should be about 25 feet away from the pier, which brings you about 10, 35... Oh wow, that brings you to about 55 feet away from your attacker, which is quite a lot of feet. So, next up we have Sahir. What are you doing?
Well, I've got all these vines on me, so I suppose the first thing I gotta do is break out of them.
That's a
As
good
I'm
thing.
kind of being wrapped up in them, just like, I feel like I would have been better off in the water. And just like start trying to push my way out. Strength save, was it?
Yep, with advantage.
Oh, God. Oh, good. I rolled a 2 and a 20. So I'll take that 20. Less
succeed.
that advantage. And I just keep moving forward, like straining against the vines that are popping out of everywhere in and around the gondola. And as I kind of slip free, I will jump to the pier and start running as best I can. It's probably more like staggering at this point because I'm basically I'm in really rough shape.
Behind you, you can hear a muttered curse, as basically the last of you have managed to escape the entangle, and the spell just drops. Okay. Thankfully, your attacker is now actually, having their turn. Which brings me in the precarious position of I don't believe I can do shit. Oh wait, I think I can. As definitely the raft is nearing, just with its usual speed, unfortunately, which brings me within 50 feet. And if I, recall the spell correctly, I would like a wisdom saving throw from Broden, as once again they thrust their hand out, and it feels like vines are slithering against your skin and restraining you, but the others can see that there are none.
That's a 19 total.
Yeah, that's a success right there. So you just
You
shake
picked
your head.
highest stat.
I'm sorry. Believe me, I actually am quite sorry about that. So, that was the round of your attacker, who is at this point looking quite peeved that you're all escaping. But has not yet reached the level where they would threaten you verbally. So, it is Broden's turn.
Well, I've got 2 more darts. So I'm going to pull one out, dip it in the poison that I have, which is also running low. I'm going to have to make more soon. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a dart. Does a 15 hit? Okay, so that'll be...
Yes, it does, despite what my fucking background wants to say.
Yes, I understood. That's another 3 points of piercing damage. Ooh. And a DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
He fails.
He is now considered poisoned, which is disadvantage on all attack throws and saving throws. Attack rolls and saving throws.
Oh my! I don't like that. I don't like that one bit, actually.
Yeah, all attack rolls and ability saving checks. Or ability checks.
Really? Anything else?
Can we hide?
You can attempt to. There's an alleyway right there, and if you go into it, you might be able to
do that. I think Broden would like to do that.
So, actually, it seems to be quite fortuitous, as the alleyway is quite littered with what seems to be empty barrels, boxes, and at some point there seems to have been a wall that's basically caved in onto the alleyway.
Ooh.
So yeah, you could definitely hide there. If you could give me a stealth check, please, as you're moving out of the sight of the stranger. Well, stranger, you know him. Oh no. Hey.
Zoom crashed.
Oh no.
Yes. So you asked for a stealth save or stealth check.
I did.
Woohoo! That's a 17, flat, neutral. No positives or
Okay,
negative.
you feel quite well hidden as you crouch behind one of the boxes. It's always a bit of mental gymnastics to picture a hiding Minotaur, but
I'm hiding
you
toward
manage.
Noble.
Yeah, just the ostentatious cloak, just used as like a green screen equivalent. I don't know. Oh, your camera does hide you. Which brings us to M. Hello.
Hello. I would. What does this? I almost said street. I know it's not a street. What does this alleyway dock area look like? Are there many avenues of?
Well, it's a very simple wooden pier at which you've arrived, and this pier leads up a small flight of stairs to what seems to be a network of alleyways. The one to the left is the one where Broden has now successfully hid themselves, but there are definitely at least two other ones, one straight forward and one to the right. There seem to be boxes littered, and it's quite an abandoned area actually. It seems like this might have been like not a fishing pier, but maybe some goods were exchanged here, or perhaps transported. It is definitely deserted.
Cool. I guess I will go right and also try to hide. I assume I saw.
All
Wren,
right.
like,
Yeah, definitely. Right is not the alleyway in which Broden is hiding. Just
correct.
give me a stealth check, please.
Of all the mistakes I've made in my life. Okay.
Oh, okay. You also feel quite sufficiently hidden. Which, by the by, is the result of nearly every stealth check above 5. So,
Love that for us.
so here, you are the last one to dart into the alleyways. Unless, of course, you want to turn and, buy the others some time.
Before I leave, I will
Ooh.
turn to the fine person pursuing us, and I would like to use my action with Mage Hand again to try and push our previous gondola in the way of his own craft.
Ooh.
Perhaps that was weird. I just had a beetle crawling on me.
Ah.
Perhaps further harrying him, and after giving that a little push, I'll say, "See you later. Enjoy the rest of your evening." And then I'm gonna turn and run, and I don't think I know everyone else went and hid, so I'll dart down the alley and I'll just look around and be like, where did
As a
everyone?
bonus action, you can give me a perception check if you
Broden.
want to attempt to spot anybody.
Broden, where are you? Where'd you go? I'll take the. I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh, hey, that's an 18 on the dice, so
You do indeed find Broden and if you're looking for them. Wait, sorry, which one did you dart into, or are you standing in the? At
the one
crossing?
that Broden
Oh, okay.
went.
So the left one. Yeah. So you only see Broden.
What? I just kind of spot. I spot you hiding behind that box. What are you doing back there? Do you think you're hidden? What is this?
Get down.
Fine. I'll jump into an empty barrel and pull the top over.
At least you're going to, since you already used your action to utilize your mage hand.
Oh,
so
next
you're
turn,
basically
I
turning
suppose I
into
will,
the
yes.
alleyway with Broden. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just speed up, have another action. No. Not yet, unfortunately. So, you definitely hear the suppressed fucking damn it as the raft slowly drifts towards the other raft. Unfortunately, that's 10 feet, 15. I need to use my action too. Interestingly enough, they, in a spout of energy, as previously unseen, managed to cover 10 feet with their action instead of just 5, as they did indeed get above a 20, which brings them to, I believe, 5 feet away from where your raft is right now, which is again 5 feet away from the pier. And utilizing their movement action, they will attempt to fucking parkour this thing. Which, could be very cool. Oh no, it isn't. Well, you don't hear it, you don't see it, but you hear this. Oh, fucking. So, with that action, we have Broden once again.
Did Broden hear the spellcaster face plant?
Oh yes, it was quite noisy. It's actually there was a splash at the end there somewhere, and of all the people, Broden would definitely be the one to pick up on that. If I recall, you have a ridiculous passive perception.
Yes, Broden does. Of 13 at level 0.
Oh.
To improve later. Yeah.
Well, you're getting there.
Yes. I'd say that Broden would say, well, we got rid of all of them. Still have all the seeds. Let's keep moving.
You hear a muffled voice from inside the barrel. Hooray.
So, are you sprinting towards the manor?
Do we feel like we need to sprint?
I mean, I don't know how you feel.
I mean, well, I guess Sahir is kind of bleeding out on us.
Just kind of flop out of the barrel. I'm doing a lot of flopping over things right now. I'm like draped on the side.
You're not looking
So he
to
has found their true calling as a fish.
flop on the deck.
As quickly as possible while also trying to avoid undue attention, perhaps.
Oh, that's easy. There's literally nobody here.
Perfect.
Okay. Mechanically speaking, are you taking the dash action or are you not?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Let's get there as quickly as we can, I suppose.
You got guards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're at that point where the fight could reignite, if I roll well. So I did need to know.
We've got more
that.
pursuers.
And unfortunately, I did roll well. As you can hear a splash, and around the corner, since. Oh. I apologize, as I did assume that M and Sahir both also took the same course of action. Okay, so I kind of skipped your turn there without asking. As they did see M running, across the alleyway where she originally hid, and then they kind of took off into the direction of the manor, so your pursuer does know where. and they will also dash. At this point, I would like some athletics checks, as this might be a chase at this point rather than a fight. So let's give a round of athletics checks. If they manage to keep up, well, they will keep up with you. If they manage to beat you, they will get into the range of 60 feet once again. So, we'll just announce their result. That makes it a bit easier. I got a 12. Does anybody have beneath a 12? Broden has a 3.
Oh, I've got a 10. I was just raising my hand.
A 10? Okay. I thought 3, that's a bit.
I have a 7.
Okay. M? Okay, so Sahir, you sprint
I got a
forward
19, so I'm
you
booking.
surge forward, and you do notice that Broden and Em are just not able to keep up with you. And, having done a lot of running in the streets of Sihani previously, I imagine, you are quite experienced at this, leaping above barrels, kind of ducking beneath what seems to be like these caved-in walls, and so on and so forth. You weave expertly through the urban environment, and Em just doesn't. She doesn't faceplant or anything, but they're not experienced in running through the city. And Broden is even less experienced in running through the city.
Keep up, you
Your
two.
pursuer... Your pursuer seems also inexperienced in this regard, but either they just got lucky, or they were just better. But they do manage to catch up once again with Broden. Now, as how are we going to do this? We didn't roll beneath a 5, so I'm going to say that you were about 2/3 of the way to the manor. So you're currently in this maze of alleyways and pathways. And Broden, you do know where the manor is, as do all of you, I believe. All of you would at this point be familiar with the ways there. So, once again within 60 feet, we have your pursuer, who is just fucking panting and cursing under his breath, at this point looking quite exhausted. And, of course, Sahir at the utmost front. I believe you would be about 120 feet away from them. M at 60 feet, and Broden at, I'm going to put you at 40.
Can we say 30?
We can say 30, absolutely. Which brings us to your turn, indeed. I don't know what you want to do, but, you can slow down. That is something you can do.
Yes, because seeing that they're still pursuing, they're probably not looking too great, I would imagine. Hit by a couple of darts, at least been cut by a dagger, and they spent some in the water.
They don't look great, but they don't look injured. They are injured, but they seem to be more bothered by the water and the fact that their coat got dirty than the injuries that you have. Remind me again, the poison condition, does it end somehow?
It lasts for a minute.
Okay, yeah.
Or until they
that's-
succeed on the saving throw. So, 30 feet, I have horns.
Yes.
So I think Broden will at this, and they're proficient with their horns, would turn around
I hope so.
the large brick wall that Minotaur tend to be, and run back and kind of have like this momentum impact. I'll see if I land the attack.
You definitely can see his eyes widening as this angry bull basically charges towards them. There seems to be a bit of relief,
That's a dirty 20.
which I presume is immediately crushed.
And then, so that's a d6 plus 1. So that's 6 points of piercing damage. And I'm going to go ahead and use my bonus action to use the old hammering horns immediately after hitting a creature with a melee attack as part of your attack action. You can use a bonus action to shove them, to attempt to shove them, and make a strength saving throw against being pushed back 10 feet, kind of hoping
I fail.
to a wall. Okay, yeah. So Broden just kind of, I imagine, turns around, runs back as they're running around a corner or something, and they have a head-on impact in which he gets hit and then thrown backwards against a wall.
Against a wall, that's 10 feet, which is 1d6. That's 3 points of damage. Can you give me the damage you did?
Yes, 6.
6 points of damage. Ooh, okay. They are beginning to look bothered. Their skin seems to be harder than you think. It should be. It's not a bark skin situation, but there's some unnatural quality to their skin, since as far as you can see, they are human. And they collide with the wall with this very muffled impact sound. Which brings us, unless you want to do anything else, I don't think you can, to M.
Yeah, I've used movement, bonus, and an action. To slam them against the wall.
M, at this point you are 50 feet away? No, 70. 70 you are.
7-0. Still running.
7-0. Still running. Alright, taking the dash action. Moving to... Oh god, this is some high maths here. 130 feet. Right? That's right. I can maths.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Counting is, I heard, quite the serious skill. Moving on to Sahir.
I'm running. I think that puts me at what, 180?
Yeah, something like that.
I'll do the math for you.
Thank you. So, 180, I'm going to say that the manor is at the 500 feet mark.
Oh god, why is it so far
quite,
away?
Quite a ways away. You
Like puffing.
went 2/3
just
of
like,
the way.
Couldn't he have just, I don't know, built it someplace closer?
Alright. Which brings us to the spellcaster, who is now standing up from the wall and dusting off their coat, which they look down and then just say, it's useless. Anyway, I have to get a new one. So, thanks for turning back, since, you know, you have the thing we want. Give me the seeds right now, and we can avoid anything. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm just going to kill you anyway. And almost half-heartedly, they raise their hand, and in their hand there seems to materialize this almost snake-like plant from within their robe. Well, I say robe, coat. Once again, which then hardens into this jagged thorn-like, well, vine, for the lack of a better word, and then they charge at you. Almost in the same way that you just did with, hopefully... this is a bit awkward. You take 8 points of magical bludgeoning damage. Oh, piercing. It would in this case would be piercing. I apologize. As the staff sinks into you, then gets ripped out with violent force. Are you still up?
Oh, yes.
Good.
I wonder how many times I have to bash their head against the wall before they start getting concussions.
Well, we're going to find out, won't we?
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn, I really want to go into break right now. We have to find out, won't we? But no, we have about 8 minutes left. Rodin, it is your turn, so let's find out now. Damn, that was such a perfect spot.
Since they did me the favor of walking up to me, I'm just gonna hit them again.
This is just an absolute, like, people hitting each other. This is not even elegant anymore. This is just bare bones combat, basically.
15 total, which I believe hits.
Hits.
So that'll be another d6. So that's 4 points of damage, and they need to make that strength saving throw again against my DC of.
Oh no!
You sure?
So once again, they get thrown back into the wall for an additional 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And once again, they nearly stagger down, but they manage to brace themselves against the wall and just. God damn, you're persistent.
It's like when you're in a boxing match, the more you get in the head, the less able you are to fight. You're just going to keep throwing them against walls until they give up. And at which point
This
I'm
is
going
a
to...
fucking cool visual, though. Just the entire visual is amazing. So,
Yeah.
Sahir and M, I am going to skip your turns respectively unless you want to turn back, having noticed what is happening. Since this is kind of divulging into a one-on-one fight.
I still have the movement since they moved closer to me, so I'm going to book
Oh,
it.
you do?
Yep.
You book it? Alright, unexpected. So, 30
Once,
feet,
twice, and out.
40 feet away from them.
It cut out for me a little bit. You're running, right, Roden? Yeah.
Now.
Okay. Yeah, okay. M is going to slow down. She's not going to dash because it has finally clicked that Broden has not been behind her and has the seeds and is also in charge of the manor that they're trying to get to. There's just so many reasons to
Fair enough.
yeah.
I would stop, but as I'm jogging, I kind of do like one of those turn in a circle, like look back and see what's going on, and then I just keep going because I see M stopping.
You're one of those joggers, aren't you?
And I'm in such bad shape that if I stop and try to be helpful, I'm just going to be a liability, so I'm just going to keep going.
Fair enough. Can I task you with keeping track of your own feet away from the manor?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, which brings us to, we had Emza here, right now we have the Spellcaster once again, who once again plucks themselves off the wall, just gives this long suffering sigh as they begin to sprint towards Broden, not quite managing to close the distance as they're now 10 feet away. Here's an interesting thing. Look up a spell. Should do this previously, but this combat kind of changes. Okay, no, that's not what I want to do. Great. Even in fear of being unoriginal, I would like a strength saving throw from you, as once again the vines burst from the kind of cracks in the concrete. You're muted.
Broden would fall unconscious regardless of how much damage you deal.
It's entangle. I
Ah,
don't think entangle
cool.
does damage.
It's just a strength.
Just the strength.
I'm thinking
saving
of
throw.
plant growth. I think.
Don't think of plant growth.
Or something like that. Strength saving throw. What's the DC?
The DC is a 13.
Hey!
You succeed?
On the die and a +1. I barely.
You succeed. Barely, you manage to rip yourself from the vine as you're just waltzing forwards.
The plant contained me.
I am the plant. Oh god. Once again, you just hear this exasperated behind you as the plants make way for the one that summoned them.
You were adopted by.
Which brings me to your turn.
I was born in the plants. Yeah, so. I'm gonna just dash. No, I'm not gonna dash. I'm gonna run 30 feet away. I've got one target left.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Make it count.
turn around as I get to 30 feet away. And throw it. Actually, as I get to 20 feet, I'm gonna throw it so I'm not outside of my effective range, where I would have disadvantage.
Better idea.
And an additional 10 feet after I throw the target.
Run. Continue running.
1,
1?
21.
Oh, 21. Yes, that does hit. Like, 1. Why do you even bother?
4 points of piercing damage, and they make the con save. That's also the last of my poison vial.
They do make the con save, barely, but they make it.
Oh, I'm out.
Out of supplies. You are once again 40 feet ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, which brings us to M, who is currently, oh god, I believe about 120 feet away from Bowden? A rough estimate, correct me if I'm wrong.
I was 130, I thought. So, it'd be closer to 100.
Name a number and I will probably say yes, as long as it's not like 10 feet.
How does our pursuer look, besides mad and sartorially upset?
Hurt, but still going. It's kind of a bit of a Terminator thing going on, where they are indeed bleeding, but the wounds seem superficial, and they just walk towards you, power walking, basically.
Delightful. Love that for us.
Oh, the staff has vanished once again.
And I will yell at Sahir. I believe they're still close enough to hear me.
If you yell, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm not gonna yell into the mic, but
Other people, I assume.
get the house guard. Oh, 500 feet away. 320, whatever it is. And I will turn back and try and close the distance between myself and Broden.
Ooh, brave. Unfortunately, the house guard has rolled terrible on their perception checks, so they do not hear you from this distance.
I appreciate them trying.
But you know, they are trying. They're trying their best. They really are.
It's been a long day.
It has been. So, that brings you. You said you're about 130 away, then Broden 40, so that's about 90 feet. And when you use your 30 feet of movement with your dash action, that brings you to about 60 away from Broden.
Sounds good. I've updated my notes.
Okay. Which brings us to Sahir.
Well, I'm still running, and as I dash, that's gonna bring me 200 feet from the manor, and I'm just gonna yell, gosh, what's Broden's last name again? Hey, your liege is in trouble. Look, and I'm just gonna be like pointing back, down the alleyways. Listen for the sound of combat. Broden's in trouble.
Listen to the sound of combat. It's actually not very bad. So, you see this large manor with this absolutely beautiful, kind of overgrown but beautiful garden. And in front of it, you see two guards standing. One of them you don't quite recognize. We don't quite recognize. I'm not quite sure if you were even attending at that scene. But the other one is the guard who had spoken to Broden previously. This muscular drow woman with the long black hair. Isabella's her name. And please give me a persuasion check, Sahir, to see if you seem somewhat believable, or like this is a ploy to get them away from the manor, which they are indeed guarding.
Well, I'm guessing that they feel pretty comfortable with this because I just rolled a 19.
Oh, they are. And indeed, their insight was quite high, so they do see that you're being honest. And Isabel immediately perks up and gestures for the other guard to come with her, and they just sprint in your direction. And as she's running past you, or well, going to run past you, she just asks, "Where exactly?"
I just point the direction I've come, and I say, just keep heading that way. He's really big. There's no way you can miss him. And I'm like, just soaking wet and drenched in blood everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like the worst looking. That probably lent some more credence to my to my story,
yeah.
at the very least.
If this is a lie, you were committed to it. So, the other guard turns to you, takes one look at you, and says, "Go into the manor." And then runs after Isabel. So, we have 2 new combatants. Initiative is getting crowded down there. So, we now have, what's it, this one? Who's looking properly pissed by now? Well, I say properly pissed, it's really just utter exasperation. Somebody who just really doesn't like the job they've been assigned to do. And yet still they look strangely calm about it, like they are absolutely sure they're going to fulfill it. They in their mind, you can see in their eyes the possibility of failure has not occurred to them by now. Fine. They once again sprint at Broden, once again falling short of 10 feet, and at this time laying a finger on their own throat, and this green glow once again emanates from their hand as you can see their wounds closing as they cast Cure Wounds. It's not just a play spell. Which brings us to Isabel. She is approaching. She's doing well in that. She's quite approaching. Not quite there, I'm going to say. Feet estimate. I would say from the 500 feet. God, at this point, where even are we? I'm going to say she's about 120 feet away at the end of this round. Next up, we have M. What would you like to
What
do?
happened to Broden?
I'm still up.
That is indeed quite correct. I am sorry.
I still have 1 hit point.
I was so stressed.
Broden, please.
So he's now 10 feet away from me.
Yeah. As I said, initiative is getting quite crowded.
So I'm going to walk back 10 feet, hit him with my horns.
Yes.
I don't think I hit him with my horns. That's a 13.
That hits. The AC is 12.
Yay! Yeah,
I feel
so,
like I'm about to get slung into a wall again.
well, I don't know if we're at the wall, at nearby any walls at this point.
Walls are everywhere.
Yes, he's getting slammed into a wall again. I'm still aiming to try and give him a concussion or 3.
Their strength saving throw is really not that impressive.
14 or 4 points of damage, and then that's that 11 of strength saving throw.
Okay. Let's see my bludgeoning damage. You've done more damage by flinging this person into walls than with your horns.
That is the point.
They're almost as hurt as they were. which is not terribly hurt, but enough hurt to be bothered by it.
And then I'm gonna turn around and go keep running away with the remaining 20 feet of my movement.
I really wish I would succeed on the strength saving throw, because I could just attack of opportunity, but no, I can't. Just... Once again, the body just slams against the wall and slowly peels himself off the wall. This one, God, that's going to be a migraine.
He's gonna go through the window.
That's going to be a terrible migraine.
Yes.
Next up, we have Broden, Isabel, M. Now we have M.
Hit me.
Hit you.
Can I see the guards?
Yes, they are running at high speed towards you.
I didn't know how
They
straight
seem
of a
to
shot
be-
the alley was.
Conveniently straight,
Perfect.
which is literally the opposite of me. Go
I
on.
was gonna say. I'm going to wait where I am and kind of, come on, we've got to go. But I'm going to wait until Brodent is closer before I start running again. I want to
Okay.
maintain a close-ish distance.
Are you holding your action until Broden reaches you to run?
Yeah, I suppose I am.
Which brings us to who has been gloriously named guard number 2, or not Isabel. I can't name every NPC. Well, I can, but they're gonna get fucking confused, you know. Who is, on her heels. Next up, we have Sahir.
You can just assume I'm gonna keep running. I'm 140 feet from the manor.
Sahir has effectively removed themselves from the fight.
Yeah,
Bastard.
you can do that if you want.
Then we have the spellcaster who needs to once again peel themselves off a wall. And honestly, at this point, I believe somebody can get a bit pissed. Oh, a bit.
Enough to enter rage and be unable to cast spells?
Not quite. They rage. They are indeed a barbarian.
I had to ask. The Rage Wizard multi-class.
Oh my god. Sure, why not? So, once again, they come up to 10 feet of you, and you hear behind them, almost like a whisper, alright, let's end this, shall we? And you can feel the air suddenly charged with static, and there's this high-pitched electric noise as you please would make me a constitution saving throw. I know you're down, but still damage. I need to know if I outright murder you.
So I accidentally rolled a d6 and rolled a 1, and I was like, oh no! And then I realized, oh right! That's
Oh no, that's a d6.
Yes, that is a 21 total Constitution saving throw. My other highest stat.
Ooh. So you only take 7 points of thunder damage, and are not flung away into a wall.
Flung forward into the
You're
street.
flung forwards. No, I don't believe you are. I believe you. You aren't pushed.
I'm
as you,
unconscious.
succeed. I know you are, but in the moment of the spell, you managed to just resist this pushing effect as you kind of brace yourself against the impact and then slump to the ground. And then there's this loud, thunderous noise, which emits in a 300 feet radius, which is quite convenient. I don't know why, it's just weird that it's exactly 300 feet. Because that's not quite how this works. Anyway. With this, I believe it is a sufficient cliffhanger to enter our break, which is quite overdue by now. So, I'm going to say let's take 15 minutes. And we'll see you to see if Broden survives or dies horribly. Stay tuned. I'm still very sad about that.
Okay, you're good. I was muted. mean, we're back. We're
I'm-
live because you told me to go live.
I do need some kind of indication that we're back.
You said just go back.
I said I don't need numbers. I was expecting some kind of okay. Anyway, hello. We're back. We're very professional. Me and Eva, we really need to work on our communication. For some reason, it just doesn't work.
We're on the same page with so many other
Anyway.
things. It's just.
I know. Same page. Anyway, I believe it was the top of the round. And oh no. Broden, distract us from whatever the fuck Wren is doing there.
By sliding forward unconscious as they've while running got hit by a thunder wave that reduced them to 0 hit points.
Well,
Is-
personally, I found that quite thrilling.
I will now make a death saving throw.
Ooh, I've heard of those.
That is a 9 plus 3, so I succeed.
Do you get bonuses to death saves?
It's a Constitution saving throw.
Is it?
90%.
Didn't you aware that it's not? I might be wrong though. No, internet.
I thought they were called death saves, and they are just roll a d10. But I don't know
I think
stuff.
they're specifically not Constitution saving throws. Yeah, this one isn't tied to any ability score. You're in the hands of fate now, aided only by spells and features that improve your chance of succeeding on a saving throw or roll a d20. They are not Constitution saving throws, which brings you, unfortunately, to a 9, which I believe is a failure.
Yes.
I specifically know this because I was super confused about this myself, and it took like a 15-minute flipping through books and be like, that doesn't make sense. It should be a Constitution saving though, but hey. Moving on, we have got Isabel, who is currently sprinting, which brings her to 60 feet away from Broden and their pursuer, and about, if I recall correctly, 30 feet away from M. If I recall correctly, is not a formality. I might very well be wrong.
That sounds about right.
Okay, thank you. She will take a look at Broden's body and turn to M and say, "You help them. I will distract the attacker." And the turn goes to M.
I will absolutely try to help stabilize.
All right. I believe that's a medicine check of DC 10, and if you're under, that will be a failure at the saving throw, if I recall correctly.
I'm pretty sure that's fine.
Might be another system.
11.
11. Well, that's a success. Right there. Stabilizing people. I don't know if you've just... No, I think you have indeed stabilized them. Whatever. But, yeah. Sure. You've stabilized them. I really need to look up the rules one more time, but that makes sense to me. If you succeed on a medicine check, you save somebody from dying.
I didn't open more wounds anyway, right?
You didn't open more wounds. You've definitely aided them in some way, shape or form. So, then we have, unless you want to do anything for your bonus action.
No.
Okay. The second guard who will run out to Isabel, and then we have the spellcaster, who will look at M and say, "Step back now, I'm going to take the seeds and nothing else."
Nope.
That is too bad. And then they will make an attack. Once again, the weird staff manifests in their hand, and does a... That's not the tab I wanted to open. Oh yeah, an 18 probably hits.
Probably does, yes. Like,
You take barely 7 points of magical piercing damage as the staff slams into you.
Sweet, sweet. Now I'm down.
Oh no.
I'm at 0.
Okay, so you fall unconscious. No, there's technically not a playing character to observe what's happening, is there? We'll make a few rolls.
I mean,
Are you still gonna let us make our death saves every 6 seconds?
Yes. I'm just not describing what happens. Okay. Well, bro, then you're stabilized, unless, of course, anything happens that would destabilize you once again. Since M did manage to perform first aid on you.
Which means I can't miraculously roll a 20 and get up.
Unfortunately not, but it does mean you're stabilized. Which, you know.
Means I might as well go get a drink.
M, could you give me a death saving throw? A stabilized saving throw.
can I turn around and see them both being dead? Well, not dead, unconscious, and be...
Yeah, absolutely. You're currently at the manor. Well, not turn around. You can run back to the where the corner is, and then I think we're established there is no corner. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can turn back. I remember the conveniently straight alleyway.
I'm almost to the manor, and I see both of you now down, and it's just I can't believe the kind of day we're having, and I will grudgingly turn around and start heading in that direction, and I will, yeah. Oh God, this sucks.
I had a 13, by the way.
13. Okay, you succeed. Oh fuck! We have an observer again. Damn it. I liked the unknown. It is my partner. So here you can see the second guard, kind of crouching next to both Broden and M. Whilst Isabel has pulled out. Let's see what. I believe it was a broadsword kind of arrangement. Yes, it was. Yeah. This quite big-looking sword, which she then uses to attack. Okay, she hits. Oh, fuck, that does a lot of damage. Who would have thought? Okay, yeah, that indeed does a lot of damage. So, the broadsword cleaves into the shoulder of the figure, and for the first time you actually see them kind of lose their composure as they stumble backwards and then snarl at Isabel. Something that you can't quite hear for reasons. M, can I have a second death saving throw, please?
9.
That's a failure. However, you are stabilized with outside help.
Aw.
Which brings us to Sahir. You are running.
Yeah.
I believe if you sprint for 60 feet around, 500 you're about 200 away. Oh god, why did I choose a game that requires so much maths from me? Jesus. I believe you would take about 3 rounds to reach them, roughly. Rough calculations. Which brings me to that is a hit who retaliates with their staff against Isabel. However, they seem to be... Though they do get a good chunk of damage, and they seem to be inferior in power, actually. as the blow doesn't quite have the impact that Isabel's had. We go on to Broden. Broden or Stables. Go on to Isabel. This is just me fighting myself, and I do apologize for this. That's why D&D gets clunky. That's another hit, another good chunk of damage, and you now see the spellcaster looking increasingly worried. It is now M's turn. M is stabilized. Broden, you wake up as the second guard has woken. You are on 1 hit point. And you see directly in front of your face this very young face, actually. A boy, almost. Seems half elven, half something you can't quite place. With very white skin, and you can see behind a very thick sward of what seems to be some kind of makeup, these greenish scales that they seem to be desperately trying to cover. But in battle and running, that seems to have not quite managed to do. They've not quite managed to do that. They've got brown eyes and very blonde hair, like platinum blonde. All right, Lord. Please run to the manor. You're safe there. Alert the other guards, please. We need to get you out of here. You're muted.
I'm currently
Oh
muted.
God.
Is
They've
what
lost their voice.
It. So it's gonna take me half of my movement to stand up. And the spellcaster is presumably still within 5 feet of me.
Yes, now.
So they haven't gotten anywhere. Before I standing up, can I use my free action to check my pockets? Count all of the vials.
You still have the seeds.
All of them?
You still have the seeds, though. Only about half of them. Somebody did not quite roll high enough on the investigation check.
I think, okay, so they're still within 5 feet of me, so I would proc an attack of opportunity if I tried to run away.
Yes.
All right, here's the plan. I'm going to use half of my movement to stand up.
That's a plan. It succeeds.
And then I'm going to attack. Broden is going to attack with their horns.
Oh no.
You said 12 is the armor class?
Yeah.
That hits. They take 6.
What's your DC?
What?
What's your DC?
My difficulty class? Oh, 11. Strength.
They succeed for the first time when it really counts, and they kind of manage to
They still
grab
take
the horns and
piercing damage.
throw you off enough to not be
Slam
flung
again.
into the walls.
Well, I would still proc an attack of opportunity. That's my only half of my movement. Yeah, there's nothing more that I can do. Unless I want to go down again after taking an attack of opportunity. Going to just say, do not let him escape. Capture or kill, but do not let him escape.
Understood, my lord. Next
And
up
that's the
we
end of
have
Broden's turn.
Isabel. It doesn't hit. The broadsword misses. She does position herself between you and the spellcaster. Not in any way that would mechanically help, but you know. M. You are unfortunately still down. not any longer. As you see very much the same picture that Broden ended as the second guard manages to revive you, with also 1 hit point. Now, I believe as the fight has surged around you, you are not still within 5 feet of the attacker. I really don't know who you are, but you probably should get out of here.
Hey, thanks.
You're welcome. Now, get out.
How does the fight look like it's going from M's point of view?
Surprisingly well. Isabel's holding her own against this person, though they haven't used any additional spells, so that might throw a wrench into plans. But now you can see the guard who has revived you kind of turn around and pull out their own sword, a bit more delicate than Isabel's own giant anime blade.
I love her.
It's not quite cloud level, but it's getting there. Cloud level is another word, but you know what I mean.
We've reached the D&D dating sim portion of...
You've reached the D&D, these are the guards that Broden employs portion.
It's not weird if they're not under my employ. I will take not Isabel's advice and try and go for more help.
Alright, so you take off into the alleyway where you can see Sahir running towards you.
It's going great. Super good. Super good back there.
Oh, you both. When did that happen? You looked like you were taking a nap.
Yeah,
What?
Things were going so well. We were like, you know what? Let's just catch a quick. Yeah, no. Kind of hurts. Kind of hurts.
Yeah, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. So what if we stay alive?
Uh-huh.
That's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna be honest.
Sounds good to me. I gesture vaguely in the direction of the fight. They have friends. We have friends. We should go.
Yeah, get more
And-
friends.
Sure, go get more guards. I just wanted to make sure everyone was okay before I, completely cheesed it. Okay,
Yeah,
this
hey,
is good. This is a plan.
Good thinking. I'm gonna go get more guards.
That is a good plan, though it is kind of redundant, as you turn around and see about 2 more guards running towards you. Though it seems like those haven't been the last, as you can see other guards filing out of the entrance like bees.
Oh, then I'm just gonna wait for the end of I'm not gonna go back up to the house. There's still like...
This, ladies, gentlemen, and others, is the power of a noble house. Having enough money to solve all the problems.
You're lucky M is like too ouchy to have like strong opinions about that right now.
I have strong opinions about being rescued by money.
She has a manifesto.
I feel ways about
So
things.
has their sibling. Anyway, bringing us back to the fight, I think. Yes. Oh, it is now Sahir's. It is now Sahir's turn. Sahir, what are you doing?
Well, there's guards. There's M, she's fine. There's Broden. They're okay at the moment, I guess. I honestly feel like I'm gonna get close enough to watch comfortably and react if anything unforeseen happens. But I'm not going to actually engage in this fight. So probably like 35-ish, 40-ish feet away, just kind of like a spectator, annoyingly.
All right. So, you hover in position, and we have these faster, who sees the guards coming and sees Isabel with her giant sword and sees the other guard with the not so giant but still comparable sword. This is not a metaphor, I swear. And the other guards running towards them in the alleyway. And for a second, you can see once again that very familiar exasperation. Fine. They look around, and you can see their facial features warping into something that is akin to a surprised revelation, and then into something that is quite like fear. A bit. And that changes things. Sorry, I've got to go. And once again, they cast Entangle with, I believe, one of the last spell slots they have left. So let's see if Isabel can resist. She can
What's the
resist.
Because it's an area of
The
effect, right?
DC is 13.
13?
I don't. Wait a moment. Let me see if. Sahir is. Well, I think we can neglect Sahir unless you want to do anything specifically.
You need me to make the save? I can do it.
Unfortunately, the other guard does not. Yeah, please just give me a save. I will. I don't think you're in the area of effect. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. Forget it.
So the answer is...
The other guard unfortunately doesn't manage to resist the vines and gets wrapped up.
Get a 2.
And the spellcaster turns around and takes an attack of opportunity. There were about 15 more syllables than there needed to be in that word. And take it, they do.
Do I also get...
Did you resist?
Because they're 5
the
feet
effect?
away and I passed. Yes. I
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, I've been kind of neglecting you a tiny bit.
That's okay. I definitely hit them with the horns.
Okay. Strength saving throws. That finally they begin succeeding. They are wise to your tactics.
Hey, I wasn't gonna try and do the hammering horns because it's a bonus action on my turn.
They would have
and,
hypothetically succeeded if you were to do that.
and they take 7 piercing damage.
They look quite battered by now, like properly battered. Still alive, but very battered. As they not quite gracefully extract themselves from both the sword and horns and just book it.
How far do they get?
30 feet.
Because you know who can attack on a bonus action after dashing?
I fear.
Friends.
I know.
But he's
So,
not to, because he is not feeling good and he trusts Isabel to do her job. Or they rather trust Isabel to do her job. Yes. So Broden's going to now withdraw to a safer distance.
Just next to Sahir, what?
Nah, just like stroll straight on back to the manor.
That is quite badass, actually. Okay, next up we have Isabel, who moves into attacks and misses. Then we have M.
Does Isabel not have multi-attack? Come on.
She does not.
It's like the one being a guard.
You're gonna have to train your people.
Right?
That is something you can do.
Oh, yay. Can I get an army?
You can. If you have a lot of money.
Who has a lot of money? The spellcaster's moving away, right?
Yep. I mean, Isabel had caught up to him again.
I'm going to move closer, I guess.
Ooh.
I mean, I can only move so far. I would like to try and catch up as much as I can.
Alright, so you would now be within about 10 feet of the fight.
Great, love that.
Unless you want to dash, then you could get right into it.
10 feet sounds fine. I'm okay with that.
Can I
Anything for an action or bonus action?
can I tell M as she passes by, he's got some seeds.
Great.
May I? DM? Gracious.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh god, don't make me kill you again. Oh, again, I haven't succeeded. I'm sorry, I'm getting there. Alright, so if that was your turn, we go to guard number 2's turn, who has been named during the break. Who will miss terribly. I swear they're actually competent, they're just... Nope. Next up we have the Spellcaster's turn, who now sees themselves once again confronted with 2 guards. And just once again books it, but this time dashes. Both get attacks of opportunity.
What is not
Isabel
Isabel's
misses.
name, though?
You wouldn't know that?
That's fair. That's fair.
And both miss, interestingly enough, which I'm quite disappointed about. But they book it around the alleyway and run back into the maze. And at this point, this fight is going to be a chase scene, basically, which plays out away from you. So, we can finally abandon the fight music. As you all find yourselves not in any immediate grave danger.
Lovely. I've got these vines just crawling all over me, and I'm just like pulling at my legs, trying to get unstuck again. I swear, this is the worst day I've had in a long time, all for a bunch of stupid seeds. Anybody? A little help? Something?
I imagine that as the wizard gets out of range, the entangle goes away.
Interestingly enough, it doesn't quite. It still clings there. But what do you know about spells? Particularly this kind of spells, they should disintegrate immediately. These stick around. Emphasis on sticking.
You're fine, Sahir. You've got this.
Like using my bare hands to scrabble at it. Do you still
They're
have
not
that
alive
dagger
anymore. They just...
you pulled out of my back?
No. Sorry.
Well, I take my time pulling myself out, I guess. Eventually, hopefully.
You manage after some time, yeah.
God. I need a drink and something to eat.
Yeah, that would be...
Things can be provided.
You're swell, Burden. Thank you.
Yeah.
Broden would then, once Sahir gets free, lead everyone back to the manor. I assume that guards are moving around us at this point
Yeah.
and with us.
Like some of them are going after Isabel and the other guard. Some of them are just kind of making a kind of cocoon around you.
Mhm.
A bit overkill since the danger seems to be past, but
Never know. There could be others.
true. And they escort you back to the manor. Interestingly enough, one of the servants informs you that there is nobody else of the family in the house.
Hmm. Um. No, I don't think. I mean, does I don't know how large the family is. I know specifically. Well, the family of Danul.
Well, usually you and your mother would be staying at this particular manor.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the family manor, not the house manor. I think Broden would passively wonder where their mother has gone, but not worry about it too much. More like a passing, I wonder, and then moving on, shrug it off.
Yeah.
Calling for
Refreshments and aid is provided. You don't have a doctor like a house doctor, but you
all
can
doctors.
easily enough call. What?
We're all kind of doctors. That's why we're the house of healing.
Kind of, yeah. You easily can call somebody who is more proficient in that. And as the immediate danger has passed during the next hour, take a short rest if you wish, or a long rest if you dare to.
There's no benefit to a short rest. I have no hit dice.
Yeah. That phrasing was very pointed, but also.
There's literally no reason for us, because we don't get. Well, we get our dragon mark spells back on a short rest.
If you've gotten your dragon mark yet.
Mechanically. Yeah, but I'm gonna sit at a table with my feet up, eating and drinking whatever's provided to me. I don't care how long I'm sitting here. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon.
Well, it's also middle of the night, so.
It's always night. We risked our neck to get these seeds here.
Mm-hmm.
Now what?
Enjoy the rest. Well, I'm gonna. Broden would, consider their options before suggesting probably keeping most of them in vials hidden somewhere in the house, and then seeing what happens with the ones that they have already planted in their garden.
Yes. You walk to your greenhouse, which is kind of like a bit of the sanctum, or the inner sanctum of the garden, I imagine, and walk to the particular patch of nutrient earth, where you've planted these seeds. You can see now that there are indeed small green, what seems like a combination of maybe vines, if vines were a bit softer, almost flesh-like. They are green, yes, but you can see petals which are almost blossoming in this faint bluish color.
We'll take note of that in a journal. Yes, definitely going to wait until these flower and fruit before planting the rest. But I wanted to secure them, and I think Broden would want to wait until Isabel gets back before retiring.
Easy enough. Isabel does get back within about 2 hours. She and the other guard, which still has not been named, or it has been, but you don't know its name, return looking, in Isabel's case, very wet. You can see the murky black water dripping from her, and judging by the armor that she is indeed wearing, it must have been quite a close call for her to escape. But the other guard is kind of subtly glowing with pride. Their sword sheathed, and in their hand you can see this small light crossbow. Isabel would make quite a pompous entrance, just the door slamming open, approaching Broden and giving a very small bow. The threat has been dealt with. We follow them. Oh. Almost through half a Sahani, for what it felt like. Two rafts for some reason, both unsecured, and well, jumped into one of them was quite a chase, but we managed to shoot him in the back. Well, Mike here managed to shoot him in the back. Quite a good shot, but they're dead. Definitely.
Where is their body?
Well, the body fell into the water. We waited, of course, for 5 minutes, but nothing came back. And unless you know anybody who can survive a crossbow bolt to the head, they're dead.
Well, that solves that problem. No one's chasing us. We got all the seeds. Everything's great.
Broden would hold up a finger, turn to look at you. Hold on about that a moment.
You know I don't like when you make that face. What?
Good job, Isabel. Unfortunate that he could not be recovered. But it is unimportant for now.
I mean, to be fair, mostly was Mike here.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time in the canal.
You did also do plenty of damage yourself before he escaped. Attempted to escape.
Fair enough. So, about that raise.
You know that my mother handles these affairs. I will bring them
I
up
know.
with her at the
I'm
soonest
joking.
opportunity.
Mostly. I'm mostly joking. So, I don't want to be, how do you say, cheeky, but do you see now, my lord, why I did want to give you an escort?
Yes.
Good. Will you reconsider?
I will reconsider, but I make no promises.
I mean, it does seem like something really useful that, we probably could have used earlier. I don't know why we hadn't considered that before.
The fewer people aware of our business, the better.
And we don't necessarily want to encourage anyone to attack us by virtue of just having someone in armor and hefting around an enormous broadsword.
Yeah, that really kept us undercover. Yep, that.
Also, I don't want to crush your hopes, but I wouldn't be the one escorting you. I've got the manner to look after.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Let's send some other guards.
No, that's not nearly as interesting.
Thank you, Isabel. My associates and I have some matters to discuss in private, if we may.
As you wish. She turns around and removes herself from the room, and so does Mike. Interestingly enough, his gaze seemed to linger on Sahir for a second. Then he leaves the room. More curiously than ominous.
Broden would personally close the door, whether it's a closed door or a closed door.
That's more visually dramatic.
Yeah.
Or we're in.
Before
I imagine you're like in a circular room with high windows and a double door and like a table in the middle with a chandelier up and just burning candles in the middle. Perhaps it has also started raining ominously. Yes, I do hear the rain. It's quite ominous.
Yes, considering we're underground.
It rains.
It does rain here.
Oh, cool.
Condensation. Before the doors close, M would shout after them, hey, and like, thanks for saving our lives and stuff. That was super great.
No problem.
It is kind of their job.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, yeah, but you still have to appreciate it.
I do.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Thanked them,
saying it is also good.
and I did.
Do you know what happens
their-
when you take advantage of the goodwill of the working classes?
I'm not taking advantage of their goodwill. I thanked them for doing their jobs. And now, it is time to discuss ours. He did get away with half of the seeds that I had on my person, about 30-ish.
Get away is sort of a strong term.
However, those 30 seeds are now somewhere in the waters.
oh great. So we just add even more magic bullshit to the already disgusting, terrifying canals.
If you would like to warn your coworkers that the waters might get more dangerous, that is up to you.
We don't even know what they'll do, though. I mean,
Yet,
will they grow in just water?
well, there's some amount of dirt and soil at the bottom of any water.
Well, sure, but they have to sink, and you can overwater plants, to be sure.
And they are currently in glass vials. However,
Feel marginally better about
so there are also things that might be attracted to things that glow in the dark
extremely
at the bottom of the water.
volatile magic seeds.
For example, yes. This is a problem that we cannot solve, though.
We need a finder.
Time.
Well, if that person that attacked us could track the seeds, there's no doubt they've got other folks on the payroll who can track them down at the bottom of the canal. So,
Even when I was amidst their number, there were none that were willing to dive into the waters.
well, I'm sure there's been plenty of time for them to find someone gullible enough to do it.
Sahir.
Yeah.
How deep, on average, is the canal?
I don't know. I don't make a habit of measuring to the bottom.
Well, but you pull along it, right?
Broden would know this actually, since you have been extensively researching the make of Sahani and its underground. A canal is approximately 80 feet deep on average.
80?
80. Sahani was originally a very small island. Most parts of the city are basically an extension above the ocean.
So they're paddles, not poles, on these gondolas.
Well, mostly the canals are narrow enough that you can use the walls and you don't go all the way
Okay.
down.
Okay.
But yes, yes. Some of the stakes do have paddles.
Okay.
Also, note to the on average, there are definitely canals that are shallower.
Or
It would-
deeper.
Yes, shallower or deeper, hence average. The yes, the canals tend to be around 80 feet deep. I don't know of anyone who's willing to dive that deep, even in normal waters. Tends to be a little unhealthy for the lungs, you could say.
Bottom line is, those seeds are as good as gone.
Indeed.
Bottom line. I get it. Bottom of the okay. Only there were some way of tracking the trackers. Is there a reason? I know we've had something to eat. I'm still dog tired. I don't know if there's dogs here, but the expression still holds. The, what if we nap, have a bit of a sleep, think on this, come back in the morning. Where are the seeds now? The not extremely
Lost.
inconvenient ones. No, the other seeds.
Yes, the ones that I retained when I was unceremoniously thrown on my face. They are secured in the house.
All right.
They're the family vault. If I deem it necessary, I can also transfer them, while guarded, to the vault of the house, Sif.
Okay. Mostly I'm just happy that you're not, like...
Carrying them on my person still?
Yeah. In the morning, then?
Indeed. I have in no plans to leave here in the near future, so I will be attending my garden for the time being.
Do you mind terribly if I just, like, crash in a corner somewhere? I really don't.
There are spare rooms that can be provided for both of you.
That would be ever so kind.
Friends and all that.
And all that.
Much obliged.
Unless anyone has any, you know, brilliant plans off the top, I'm gonna go get some sleep.
I believe the GM just raised their hand after you said, unless anyone has a brilliant plan.
Thankfully, somebody caught that. So, you take a long rest and regain all your hit points.
And level 1? Question mark?
Well. Let me finish. Roden.
Oh
As
dear.
you rest. Hello. I hope you weren't getting too comfortable. As you rest, the rain slowly fades into the background, and in front of your eyes, you see this blue glint, the same color that the petals have. And as you open your eyes, you are standing once again in your greenhouse in the garden, and all around you is the most magnificent thing you've ever seen. Plant work so intricate, so marvelous that every other plant pales in comparison. And all around you, blue petals of the utmost beauty. Right in front of you, one seems to be almost stretching towards you, beckoning you to come closer.
I think, as long as there's not, like a... You know what? I'm gonna make a... Can I make a nature check? I guess?
Absolutely.
Divining purpose? I don't know. Studying the shapes of the plant, I guess, to, like, the leaves or whatever. I don't know. I've reached the end of my depth of knowledge of gardening to be able to say... Yes,
this is normal behavior for tomatoes.
Yeah, like determine what it's trying to do based on the structure it has taken. That is a 12 plus 2, so that's a 14 total.
14. You rack your brain and nothing quite comes to mind. Nothing you've ever seen even comes close to this work of art. Of nature itself. Though then you think back to those times where you were perhaps more gullible and much what was said to you culminates in this thing. It is pure beauty, yes, but it is so much more than that. It is the epitome of everything that you've been striving for. And in front of your mind's eye, you can see blue light crawling through black water, illuminating bit by bit every nook and cranny and turning the entire world even into this beautiful garden. Once again, you kind of shake your head to get rid of that vision, and you see in front of you the plant once again clearly beckoning.
Just a reminder, I planted 6 of those seeds back when we started. Just for a note, I think Broden would then get closer.
Hold on.
That's a period, not a question mark.
Sure about that. Well, as you get closer, you kind of take a breath. This, well, to describe it as a heavenly smell would probably be wrong, as it is quite down to earth, though it is almost like the smell you smell in your own gardens, the smell that you've known and yet not. There's a sense of familiarity in something new. And once again the plant beckons you closer, although you're almost standing, almost touching it.
Is there, so it's is there a portion of it that is flowering? Question mark.
Yes.
I guess Broden would reach out to hold the flower.
You gently hold the flower, of course not picking it, and almost as an invisible wind blows through the entire garden, through the entire greenhouse. Its petals kind of move slowly. And for a second, everything is in harmony. Everything seems to stand still. Not ominously, but a perfect moment captured. Then you can feel the flower twist beneath your skin and into your bones. And though it should feel unsettling, and it is unsettling, there's also this sense of understanding as your veins are filled with the same blue. The flower has given you beauty, and now it wishes to see more. Rapidly blinking, you're awake. In your room. No greenhouse, no flower. There's still that faint sense of something unknown and yet familiar lingering in you. The only thing you see before falling back to sleep is that faint blue hue. So, that was it, sorry. Now, as you're all awake from your various eventful nights, what would you like to do? To remind you, today is... Oh god. It has been some time. I've got it here somewhere. I believe today is about 8 days from when the auction would be held. And today is also the day that Stefan requested M's presence in the cafe to meet with her via Sid. Just as a reminder, since it has been quite some time. Which would make today Wednesday. So, how do you get together after your night? Is it a breakfast arrangement or what's happening?
And would definitely be hoping for some sort of breakfast situation.
Rodan would have left a message for the morning cooks to prepare a meal for 3.
Of course. The morning cooks, called because they only work mornings, of course. You have different cooks for different days, or times of the day. Prepare a... I want to say hearty, but it's actually just breakfast in the way that only a gourmet cook can make breakfast in the most ostentatious way possible. There is no bacon sandwich here. There is the bacon sandwich here. You can request anything, but it will be exponentially expensive. I mean, you don't need to pay for it, but it will be. Thankfully, the House of Healing is quite well off. Even those branches of it that are, let's say, less active than others. So, you come down into a dining room, not the dining hall, of course, that would be absurd, which is basically permeated by this mouth-watering smell of just dozens of breakfast goods. The table seems to be nearly bending. You know these fucking child cartoons where the child comes down and the mother's prepared all the breakfast in the world and they take like one piece of toast and fuck off? Yeah, that's that breakfast. Eat it! I'm sorry, I'm not going to poison you yet.
Concept doesn't even cross
What?
his mind.
House of Healing? Not allowed.
Pretty sure there's a domain effect against that, actually.
She'll have a proper full-sized plate. Did we think of anything?
I did not. But I think something tells me that that problem discovered last night might be useful later on.
The problem?
Might not be a problem in the long term.
What makes you think that?
The prevailing winds, shall we say.
Are you a
I'm at-
gardener or are you a sailor?
The wind and the waves are as much a part of nature as the gardens.
Ugh.
It's too early for that sort of nonsense.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
She'll raise whatever she's got in her mug. It's sort of like a cheers. Cheers.
Yeah.
Well, if the other seeds we have are safe, and how secure is your greenhouse?
It's quite... It is well guarded. In more than ways physical.
Okay. Disconcerting, but I'll take it. I have somewhere to be this afternoon? Question mark? Do we have any other plans for the day?
Collectively, I don't believe so. Unless you'd like to make some while we are dining.
What, like a date? What? It's too early. Okay. Just ignore me. And I just shove my face into a plate.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Very well.
All right. Next steps. Just everything's a little foggy, you know, after yesterday like that. That was a solid sleep. We are and are not concerned about the canal seeds. We are, you know, that's a lot of money. Like, everything else aside, like,
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
I guess we're seeing how you haven't learned anything about the whatever you're growing.
I know that it is that they are alive in a sense.
They are plants, Burden.
Yes, but I meant in an aspect that is more than other plants.
They're
Is-
more planty than a plant.
We already knew they were magical in nature, but they may not be unconscious of their lives.
I'm sorry. Are you proposing that they are sentient?
In the same manner that magic and nature intertwine to be alive, to create life.
It's too early.
Great.
It's too early for these philosophical discussions. Why did I ask? I asked. I knew better, and yet I still asked. Sahir, why didn't you stop me?
You know, I'm not sure. So the seeds that dropped into the canal, is that kind of like we dropped children into the water, or what? Should we be worried about a moral obligation to retrieve them, or something? I mean, I'm not beholden to it, but I'm just making sure.
I am now decidedly
Nope.
uncomfortable with
No.
that. Yeah, great.
Thanks for bringing it up. I don't believe there is any sort of moral attachment to it. We have not just dropped infants into the water. Eggs, perhaps, but not infants.
Not much better. Don't like that.
That's no different than dropping a carton of. GM, are there chickens in this?
I
Yeah,
have
okay.
all these animal questions. No, but
It's no different than dropping chicken eggs into the canal.
but where did the eggs come from? Is there some sort of mother magic plant looking for them? That's my concern here.
What came first, the mother magic plant or the egg? Which, don't bother yourself with it.
Sahir, just said too early philosophical discussions.
You're the one who literally brought that up.
I'm now terrified of some awful plant looking for these things. Like, we already have one awful pursuer.
I think this is a case of you looking too deeply into the words of someone who does not understand fully what they are talking about.
See, and I'll kind of tap you on the shoulder. See, they just admitted they don't know what they're talking about half the time. So there we go.
That was about that. Oh, I thought it was about me. Okay.
And besides, we rescued those seeds from those crooks,
Half of them. The other half.
other scoundrels. So realistically, if there is a mommy plant monster, she's gonna come to us and she's gonna thank us for rescuing half of the little seedlings. The end.
And we're not the ones who sunk them in the. Like, that's on that. Do we know who that was? Just some
Spellcaster?
zealot?
Do I recognize? Did I recognize? Does Broden know who that person is? Were they ever formally
Having-
introduced?
Never formally, but you have heard of them. Their name is Striff Hutzler. They are not high-ranking, but they are definitely a favoured member of the Tutida Calatinorum.
Can you spell that out for me?
I already did in our.
Oh.
It's the name of the cult.
Oh, thank you.
That'll be all from me, I think.
Emma's happy to move on to her meeting unless there's anything else.
Unless anybody.
Broden, quick question.
Yeah.
You got anyone around here that's any good at dragon chess?
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. I don't play myself. I know cards tend to be more popular among the guards, but as do dice.
Oh, all right. Well, I suppose I know what I'm doing for the rest of the day. And I'll just start shoveling food into my mouth. And once I'm done, I will excuse myself and whistle nonchalantly as I go search for people to fleece on the premises.
Which game are you utilizing for this purpose? Dragon chess,
Either's
or are you-
fine, but probably cards, preferably.
Give me an investigation check, please.
Only a 9.
Yeah, 9. We shall return to this scene in our next session. However, I do want to get get the scene out of the way. Sounds a bit rude, really, does it? You enter the cafe, and kind of very. It's a bit of a juxtaposition and turn, really, as the cafe is usually quite jolly, quite happy. Sid being, not the exception of this, and he approaches you. There's a fellow in the corner over there who's been trying to talk to you for a bit now. It's the big pale one, Stefan. You. Oh, you mean him? Okay, so you really all meet him today. Okay, good. I thought it was hogging a seat or something.
Hey, thanks, Sid.
Can I bring you something?
Tea, dealer's choice.
Sure. He vanishes and comes with tea. Stefan, as promised, is once again this very large, pale human who always looks just a bit too much out of a horror movie to fit in this scene. And he kind of hunches over his tea as you, I presume, sit across him. Oh, well, sit on the opposite side of the table. Thank you for meeting me. Now, I want you to know that it is only because you and Baramani are allies, shall we say, that you do not see me in much more unpleasant circumstances. Or, well, not at all. We looked into Catherine J. Dawning, and Baramani vouched for you and told me that you definitely did not know what you were getting into, and I do believe him, though his security is my job. So consider yourself sufficiently warned.
I take your meeting.
Catherine J. Dawning is a phenomenon that has baffled the entire scientific and magical world.
She is, as far as we know, an author of a great many number of books and poems which are non-magical. There is no trace of any kind of magic, and yet most who read them, well, some get found, and some don't, and even fewer come out unscathed. However, there are very, very few who manage to profit from her work. We don't know how she does this, but even a glimpse of a page, a letter perhaps, is enough to enact whatever curious effect the book or poem might have.
Nothing's ever easy, is it?
No. We did not find out what specific book you were after, nor what it does. Now, if you have any choice, you probably should not go after it. And unless you're especially foolish, don't read a letter. Covers should be mostly fine.
Mostly fine?
Mostly fine. There are very few reported instances of somebody reading just the title, and let's just say there are some weird books out there, some that slow the reader down until they can never walk again, though there's no physical ailment, books that turn the reader inside out, and then again books that give power, a lot of it.
When you say very few, 2, 20.
Enough? Well, let's just say if I were a habitual gambler, I would not dare to risk it on these odds. Trust me, you do not want to end up on the losing side. If you are lucky, you end up just fine, though mentally disturbed.
Great. Okay. So something this awful, probably a few interested parties.
That about sums it up. There is a rather large market for her books there. Collectors. As I said, she is a phenomenon. Though I'm not quite sure if you do want her books to circulate. Even Mr. Baramani would think twice about selling it, and he doesn't usually think twice about selling anything.
How does the market for those work? I'm wondering.
Well, it's not illegal to possess those books, and it's not illegal to share them, as long as you don't get caught. Surely even you are aware that here the black market is almost larger than the regular market.
It's more the practical aspect, if even reading the title is
Well,
potentially.
people collect some confusing things, and some do still bet on these odds. Others just want to see what happens. That doesn't mean they themselves need to read the book.
That's fair.
I've come across a series of very disturbing reports.
Is this where I ask and you tell me something I wish I hadn't asked about?
Possibly.
What are these reports?
There is a noblewoman, Lady White Garden, who was found to be trafficking people, enslaving them, and she apparently had a habit of subjecting these books to her wares, just to find out what happens. I won't go into further detail, but be assured that even reading about what happens to those that, well, read, was enough to sour my appetite.
Alright, noted.
And I've eaten things while I've disemboweled somebody.
Okay. How's your tea? Enjoying your tea?
Quite.
Right. Okay. Anything else I should know?
Nothing that we found out. Apparently this information isn't hidden so much as it is known to only a select few. Those that bothered to look would find it. Specific information about her is understandably very rare. The peculiar thing is we don't know if she's alive or dead. We do know that she has an exponentially long lifespan, perhaps an elf, as her books have been published across a few centuries. Though we couldn't track if there are still books coming out or not, as most of these don't have dates.
Who's publishing them?
That we don't know. They just pop up in libraries all around Sahani and the world. Not just the university's library, but private collections.
But there are some in the university?
Yes, in the restricted section.
Interesting. Huh.
If that's what you choose to call it.
It's a word for it. Thank you for this.
I would say you're welcome, but I'm not quite sure if that is the appropriate choice of words.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, I will.
Yeah.
Very well then. I shall leave you to your tea.
Thank you.
Do be careful.
Thanks.
Mr. Barmani does enjoy your chats.
Very glad to hear it.
He stands up and leaves. The tea is empty. And I believe, and with this beautiful picture, we will end today's session. Was a bit of an exposition dump, but you did dig at the right places, so I didn't want to start the next session with an exposition dump. Letting it build over 2 weeks, you know, pacing. So, let's do sign off, shall we? Let's go around, say who we are, what else we're doing, and our favourite moment of the session. I shall go last, so who wants to start?
I'm already unmuted, so I guess I will. Just gonna be decisive for once in my life. Hello, I'm Eva. This is my channel, so that hopefully isn't too much of a surprise. You can find me here erratically, specifically every other Saturday doing this, surviving under stressful conditions. Also, Sundays on Open for Adventure with Wren, and we've got some, on this channel we've got some games coming up in January. We've got a 10 Candles, we've got some Mothership, and I'll also be over on Mare Feather's channel on Wednesday for an all cats game. I think at 4 Pacific. My favorite part honestly was the Wren using Mage Hand, Sahir using Mage Hand to push the other boat away. The big fan. I mean, also not dying, but I feel like that's kind of a given. So, that's it. That's me.
I'll go next since I'm next in the order on the stream. I'm Raven. I have been playing Broden. I've got nothing planned for the near future, as far as I know. Although you can find me on Twitch at unanimous2. You can follow me on Patreon at unanimous2, as in we are unanimous, and also on Twitter at the same tag, where I recently have been retweeting what more important people have to say. I've also spent on my Patreon, I spend time making D&D monsters for 5th edition that I feel are more practical to use for dungeon masters than what comes in the monster manual, while also trying to dodge copyright. My favorite moment of today was, I think, going to be Sahir just ditching us to go get the guards. And then, oh, great, they're both down, I should go back. And then realizing, oh, you're back up already. Can we just, like, Broden seems to be fine. And then, so can we, like, just leave? Just cheese it? But then we got that wonderful dream sequence from Swapper, which was great, and I loved it. And so this is my favorite moment of today.
That would leave me, because Swapper wants to go last. So, hi, I'm Wren, and you can find me around places. You can find me on Twitter at Thorny Dryad, like a prickly bush. You can also find me streaming on Wednesdays and Saturday nights at 6:30 EST at my Twitch channel of the same name. Tonight is Spook Wren Saturday, so I'm going to play some sort of spooky game. Haven't quite decided yet. It's a spur of the moment kind of thing. I also, as Eva mentioned, play Sundays on Open for Adventures channel for the Death's Keepers 5e D&D campaign, which is kicking back up tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I am also a voice of a character in a podcast called Roads Uncharted, which is starting up its second season of content this next Friday. Episode 1 of season 2 will post on the 15th of January. You can find us on Simplecast. You can find us hosted on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts, wherever your favorite podcast distribution services are found. You can find Roads Uncharted. What else do I do? I get around. You'll see me here. You'll see me there. And my favorite part of today, besides the magnificent, beautiful greenhouse / glowing flower scene, I am a particularly large fan of the mental image of Broden stepping up, ramming into this spellcaster for like 24 seconds straight, just hitting and running. I thought that was particularly funny. But I think one of my other favorite moments was when Mercy stabilized good old Broden, and the spellcaster walked up and said, "I don't want to hurt anyone, just give me the seeds." And she was just like, nah. And then he proceeded to thwack her once on the head and just be like, all right, I'll take the seeds anyways. That was like gloriously sad in a way, but I loved it. So I guess that's me.
Hi, I'm what Eva calls stressful circumstances. also known as Swapper. You can find me on Twitter under @GreatSimplicity, where I am currently doing absolutely nothing, but I just thought you should know. You can find me on the Open for Adventure Twitch channel, where I Wednesdays play Kai, a very angry druid, who's about to get eaten by a dragon. You can also find me, of course, every second Saturday here, second and fourth Saturday, that is, jamming these people. And you can find me on Twitch TV /Murfeathers channel, where I will be playing Mirge in an Invisible Sun one-shot on Saturday, the 16th of January at 1:30 p.m. EST. Apart from that, my favorite moment of the session, I mean, I was going to say the dream sequence, since I fucking love doing dream sequences, but then the session actually unfolded, and I believe my favorite moment was the several moments that led to Broden turning around and just completely whacking that spellcaster. It was such great mental image, just two people who refused to back down. Not even, it didn't come across emotionally charged. It was just, we are going to do this, and one of us is going to lose. And the odds for you are not good. And still turning around and fighting was quite nice. Well, I believe that's all we have to say. I hope we did the music command somewhere in the stream, or we're going to get fucked by copyright people. I think we did so. We're doing it now. Perfect. We technically did it. Well then, have a nice day. Watch Wren's thing tomorrow. And I don't know, stay safe. Oh god, stop doing that. Stay safe. Goodbye. My hand did